Suppose one of you has a friend, and goes to him at midnight, and says to him, "Friend, lend me 3 loaves. For a friend of mine has come to me from a journey, and I have nothing to set before him." And from inside he answers and says, "Do not bother me. The door has already been shut, and my children and I are in bed. I cannot get up and give you anything, I tell you," even though he will not get up and give him anything, because he is his friend. Yet because of his persistence, he will get up and give him as much as he needs. In church preaching this, parables teach about serving as a lesson on persistence and boldness in prayer. However, this gospel parable has a more profound significance for those chosen by God. Element: the sleeping children. Symbol: Old Testament. Prophets represent those who have finished their earthly work and are now at rest. Element: the sleeping friend. Symbol: the resurrected Christ represents the Lord who awakens, resurrects. From the sleep of death to provide breads. Element: the 3 loaves. Symbol: faith, hope, and love. The essential word of God that provides spiritual nourishment to the soul. Element: the knocking friend. Symbol: the apostles. Represents those specifically tasked with knocking, interceding, to receive the bread of life for others. Element: the midnight traveler. Symbol: the Gentiles. Represents those from outside the house of Israel who arrive in spiritual hunger during the midnight of the age. Christ identifies the apostles as his friends. John 15:15. Though the message was offered to the house of Israel, the ultimate journey leads to the salvation of the Gentiles through the persistent intercession and knocking of the apostolic ministry. Matthew 16:11 is a verse from the Bible that says, "How is it you don't understand that I was not talking to you about bread? But beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." In this verse, Jesus is warning his disciples to be cautious of the teachings of the Pharisees and Sadducees, which he likens to yeast that spreads and corrupts. The gospel of Christ was handed down to us by the apostles, so we should be cognizant of the false gospel that has been developed by certain individuals.
What is this madness?